Hey there, myth fans! Welcome to Epic Oracles, your go-to channel for deep dives into the wild world of Greek mythology. Today, we're about to shatter some divine illusions. Think you know Athena, the goddess of wisdom? Well, hold on to your togas. We're uncovering the hidden side of Mount Olympus's good girl. Get ready to meet an Athena who's not all books and battle plans. This goddess has a wild streak that would surprise even Zeus himself. Before we plunge into the murkier waters of Athena's mythos, let's refresh our memories on the Athena we all think we know. Born in a most unusual fashion, springing fully grown and armoured from Zeus's head after he swallowed her pregnant mother, Metis, Athena quickly established herself as a force to be reckoned with on Mount Olympus. Known primarily as the goddess of wisdom, warfare strategy and crafts, Athena's domains span from the battlefield to the loom, from the courtroom to the olive grove. She's the patron deity of Athens, that shining jewel of ancient Greek civilization, and her magnificent Parthenon still stands as a testament to her enduring legacy. In countless myths, we see Athena as the level-headed advisor, the voice of reason among the often tempestuous Olympians. She's the divine helper of heroes, aiding the likes of Perseus, Hercules, and Odysseus in their legendary quests. With her aegis, that formidable shield bearing the head of Medusa, and her ever-present owl companion symbolizing wisdom and insight, Athena has long been portrayed as the ideal blend of intellect and strength. But here's where things get interesting. This image of Athena, wise, just, and eternally virginal, is only part of the story. The ancient Greeks, in their infinite complexity, didn't create one-dimensional gods. Their deities were as flawed, passionate, and unpredictable as humans themselves. And Athena, well, she's no exception. As we journey deeper into the labyrinth of Greek mythology, we'll discover an Athena who can be jealous, vindictive, and at times, downright cruel. We'll see her engage in petty disputes, play dangerous tricks, and unleash punishments that might make you question just how wise she really is. But far from diminishing her, these hidden facets of Athena's character make her all the more fascinating, all the more real. So, let's pull back the curtain and meet the Athena that your high school classics teacher probably never told you about. Let's embark on a journey through the lesser-known tales of Athena, peeling back the layers of her character to reveal a goddess far more complex than most give her credit for. We'll start with Athena's role as a creator and innovator. Many know her as the giver of the olive tree to Athens, a gift that won her patronage of the city. This olive tree wasn't just a symbol, it provided food, oil, and wood, showcasing Athena's practical wisdom and foresight. But her inventive spirit didn't stop there. In a lesser-known myth, Athena is credited with creating the first flute, fashioning it from deer bones. Pleased with her invention, she began to play it on Mount Olympus. However, her moment of pride was short-lived. Hera and Aphrodite started to laugh, pointing out how ridiculous Athena looked with her cheeks puffed out and her face contorted as she played. This story reveals a more vulnerable side of Athena. Embarrassed by the mockery, she threw the flute away and cursed it, declaring that whoever picked it up would suffer a horrible fate. The flute was found by the satyr Marsyas, who indeed met a gruesome end after challenging Apollo to a music contest. Here we see Athena's vanity and her quick temper when humiliated, traits we don't often associate with the goddess of wisdom. Beyond specific inventions, Athena was credited with teaching humans many crucial skills. She taught women to weave and cook, showed men how to build ships and craft tools. These gifts highlight Athena's role as a civilizing force, using her wisdom to elevate humanity. However, the gifts of civilization aren't always benign, which brings us to Athena's darker side. Let's look at the myth of Arachne, a mortal weaver who dared to challenge Athena's skill. Arachne was a mortal woman, a weaver of extraordinary talent, so talented in fact that she boasted her skills surpassed even those of Athena herself. Now, if there's one thing the Greek gods can't stand, it's a mortal claiming to be better than them at anything. Athena, hearing of this boast, decided to teach Arachne a lesson. Disguising herself as an old woman, Athena approached Arachne and warned her against such hubris. But Arachne, confident in her abilities, dismissed the warning. She even challenged Athena to a weaving contest. At this point, Athena revealed her true form and accepted the challenge. Both goddess and mortal set to work, their fingers flying as they created tapestries of incredible beauty. Athena's tapestry depicted the gods in all their glory. Arachne's showed the gods in various embarrassing situations, highlighting their misdeeds and foolishness. When the tapestries were complete, even Athena had to admit that Arachne's work was perfect. There wasn't a single flaw to be found. But rather than congratulating Arachne or acknowledging her skill, Athena flew into a rage. She tore Arachne's tapestry to shreds and struck the mortal woman with her weaving tool. Humiliated and despaired, Arachne tried to hang herself. But Athena wasn't done with her yet. Instead of allowing Arachne the release of death, Athena transformed her into a spider, doomed to weave for all eternity. This myth shows us an Athena far removed from the wise, level-headed goddess we're used to. Here, she's petty, vengeful, and cruel. She can't handle being outdone by a mortal and resorts to destruction and magical punishment rather than acknowledging Arachne's superior skill. It's a stark reminder that even the goddess of wisdom can act unwisely when her pride is wounded. But Arachne's story is just the beginning. Let's turn our attention to another famous myth that shows Athena's darker side, the creation of Medusa. Most of us know Medusa as the snake-haired Gorgon whose gaze could turn men to stone. But did you know that Medusa wasn't always a monster? In earlier versions of the myth, Medusa was a beautiful young woman, a priestess in Athena's temple. Her fatal mistake: catching the eye of Poseidon, god of the sea. Poseidon, not known for his restraint, pursued Medusa and violated her in Athena's temple. Now, you might expect Athena to protect her priestess, to punish Poseidon for desecrating her sacred space. But that's not what happened. Instead, Athena turned her wrath on Medusa. She transformed the young woman into the monstrous Gorgon we all know, with writhing snakes for hair and a gaze that petrified all who looked upon her. Athena's actions here are troubling, to say the least. She punishes the victim rather than the perpetrator, showing a callousness that's hard to reconcile with her image as a protector of justice. Some interpretations suggest that Athena's transformation of Medusa was actually a form of protection, giving her the means to defend herself against future assaults. But even if we accept this view, it's a harsh and twisted form of protection, one that isolates Medusa and turns her into an object of fear and revulsion. This myth reveals an Athena who's willing to sacrifice an innocent to maintain the purity of her temple, an Athena who responds to a problem not with wisdom and justice, but with magical transformation and exile. Athena's capacity for vengeance is further illustrated in the story of Ajax the Lesser. During the fall of Troy, Ajax dragged Cassandra, a priestess of Athena, from the goddess's temple and assaulted her. Athena, furious at this violation of her sacred space, demanded that Ajax be punished. When the other Greeks failed to properly punish Ajax, Athena took matters into her own hands. She persuaded Poseidon to conjure a terrible storm as the Greek fleet sailed home. Many ships were destroyed, and Ajax himself was killed. Athena struck his ship with a thunderbolt, then impaled him on a rock when he tried to escape. Speaking of the Trojan War, let's not forget Athena's role in this legendary conflict. In most tellings of the Trojan War, Athena is portrayed as a strategic advisor to the Greeks, using her wisdom to help them eventually triumph over Troy. And while this is true, it glosses over Athena's personal motivations for getting involved in the conflict in the first place. You see, Athena's participation in the Trojan War wasn't just about supporting the Greeks or upholding some noble principle. It all started because of a beauty contest. Yes, you heard that right. The goddess of wisdom helped instigate a 10-year war that led to countless deaths and the destruction of an entire city because she lost a beauty pageant. Here's how it went down. At the wedding of Peleus and Thetis, Eris, the goddess of discord, tossed out a golden apple inscribed with the words, "For the fairest." Naturally, this caused a squabble among the goddesses, with Hera, Athena and Aphrodite all claiming the apple should be theirs. To settle the dispute, Zeus appointed Paris, a prince of Troy, to judge the contest. Each goddess tried to bribe Paris. Hera offered power, Athena offered wisdom and skill in battle, and Aphrodite offered the love of the most beautiful woman in the world. Paris chose Aphrodite, awarding her the golden apple. Athena, along with Hera, was furious at this perceived slight. When Paris later abducted Helen, sparking the Trojan War, Athena was more than happy to take the Greek side, not out of any sense of justice, but out of a desire for revenge against Paris and Troy. Throughout the war, we see Athena using her vaunted wisdom not to bring about a peaceful resolution, but to ensure the total destruction of Troy. She advises Odysseus on the creation of the Trojan horse, that famous ploy that finally allows the Greeks to breach Troy's walls. It's a brilliant strategy, yes, but also a deceitful one that leads to the slaughter of countless Trojans. This myth shows us an Athena who's willing to hold a grudge, who uses her intelligence and strategic skills not for the greater good, but for personal vengeance. It's a stark reminder that even the goddess of wisdom can act from petty, all-too-human motivations. But if you want to see Athena at her trickiest and most morally ambiguous, we need to look at the lesser-known myth of Tiresias. This story showcases Athena's complex nature in a way that's both fascinating and slightly disturbing. Tiresias was a mortal who found himself caught in the middle of an argument between Zeus and Hera. The king and queen of the gods were debating whether men or women derived more pleasure from intimate relations. Unable to settle the argument themselves, for reasons we won't go into here, they decided to ask Tiresias, who had the unique experience of having lived as both a man and a woman, thanks to an encounter with some magical snakes, but that's a story for another day. Tiresias answered honestly. Women, he said, enjoyed intimate relations more. Hera, furious at this response, struck Tiresias blind. Zeus, unable to undo Hera's curse, compensated Tiresias by granting him the gift of prophecy. This is where Athena enters the story. Our wise goddess decided to add her own twist to Tiresias' new existence. She granted him the ability to understand the language of birds, thereby enhancing his prophetic abilities. Sounds generous, right? But here's the catch. Athena decreed that if Tiresias ever revealed the secrets of the gods to humans, he would be transformed back into a woman. This addition to Tiresias' gift curse is pure Athena. Clever, yes, but also tricky, and more than a little cruel. Think about it. Athena has given Tiresias access to divine knowledge, but placed him in an impossible position. If he uses this knowledge to its fullest extent, helping humans with his prophetic abilities, he risks breaking Athena's rule and facing transformation. But if he holds back, he's not fully utilizing the gift he's been given. This lesser-known myth shows Athena at her most intriguing and morally ambiguous. She's helpful, granting Tiresias an additional power to go along with his prophetic abilities. But she's also capricious and a bit mean-spirited, adding a twist to the gift that's part threat, part cosmic joke. As we've seen through these myths, Athena is far more than just the goddess of wisdom and war strategy. She's a complex figure who can be nurturing or vengeful, practical or vain, just or capricious. Her actions don't always align with our modern concepts of wisdom or justice, but they do paint a vivid picture of a multifaceted deity who embodies both the power and the pitfalls of knowledge and strategy. In many ways, Athena represents the dual nature of wisdom and civilization itself. She shows us that knowledge and skill are powerful tools, but like any tools, they can be used for good or ill. The same intelligence that allows for the creation of art and the building of cities can also devise cruel punishments and wage devastating wars. Through Athena, the ancient Greeks explored complex questions about the nature of wisdom, the responsibilities of power, and the sometimes blurry line between justice and vengeance. Her myths remind us that even the wisest among us can act foolishly, that civilization has a dark side, and that the pursuit of knowledge and justice is not always a straightforward path. So there you have it, Epic Oracles viewers. We've journeyed far beyond the gleaming surface of Athena's well-polished armor and delved into the complex, often contradictory nature of this fascinating goddess. From turning weavers into spiders to starting wars over beauty contests, from punishing innocent priestesses to playing cosmic jokes on prophets, Athena has shown us she's got more layers than a Greek moussaka. What have we learned from this deep dive into Athena's lesser-known stories? First and foremost, we've seen that even the goddess of wisdom isn't immune to very human failings. She can be petty, vengeful, and sometimes downright cruel. Her wisdom doesn't prevent her from making questionable decisions when her pride is wounded or her authority is challenged. But here's the thing. These flaws don't make Athena any less of a goddess. If anything, they make her more fascinating, more relatable, and ultimately, more true to the complex spirit of Greek mythology. The ancient Greeks didn't create their gods to be perfect, unreachable ideals. They created them to reflect the full spectrum of existence, including its darker, messier aspects. Athena's contradictions, her wisdom and her foolishness, her justice and her vengeance, her help and her hindrance, remind us that life isn't black and white. Wisdom isn't about always being right or always making the perfect choice. It's about understanding the complexity of the world and striving to navigate it as best we can. As we wrap up this episode of Epic Oracles, let's remember that myths, like the gods they feature, are multifaceted. They offer us not simple moral lessons, but complex reflections of human nature and the world around us. And Athena, in all her complicated glory, stands as a shining example of just how rich and engaging these ancient stories can be. Did this video blow your mind like Zeus's headache when Athena burst forth? Then don't keep this divine knowledge to yourself. Spread the word of Epic Oracles by smashing that like button and sharing this video with your fellow myth enthusiasts. Want to dive deeper into the scandalous lives of the Greek gods? Have a burning question about a lesser-known myth? Drop it in the comments below. And hey, if you're hungry for more mythological mayhem, don't forget to subscribe to Epic Oracles and ring that notification bell. Trust me, you won't want to miss our next journey into the wild world of Greek mythology. Remember, here at Epic Oracles, we're not just retelling myths, we're revealing the complex, messy, and utterly fascinating truths behind these timeless tales. So join us next time as we continue to unravel the secrets of the gods. Until then, keep your eyes open and your mind sharper than Athena's spear.